Well, the entire country is proud of ISRO for the kind of achievement it has made, and joining me today is the Chief of ISRO, Mr. Somnath. Sir, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
So, I'll come to the first aspect which perhaps the entire country now wants to know. One, the health of the lander and the rover, and if scientific experiments have started, the payloads on board have started their job.
Health is good, both are working very well. Experiments are yet to start, it will take some more time.
Okay. So, you spoke about the last 15 minutes and called it almost 15 minutes of terror. If you can recollect last 15 minutes, sir, many of them have called it almost a textbook precision landing. What went through your mind, sir?
It is supposed to be a textbook precision landing. So there is nothing surprising for me, and nothing was anxious in that part because it was following the trajectory of what we designed. So it was giving so much of hope that it will land it perfectly well. So I had no worries.
Not even in the last few minutes.
Why should I? Yeah, there was no reason for it.
Okay. So, in fact, the next challenge now everyone is talking about is the exploration starts. The rover has already rolled out. What are the challenges on the lunar surface, sir? Many say perhaps the lack of atmosphere itself might be a
There are
challenge.
many issues in the lunar surface we are experiencing for the first time, especially when mechanisms, moving items are there on the surface. It can get entangled with the dust there. It can get into the moving parts and jam them. The bearings of the system may not work, the motors may not work, and it gets stuck. The dust is a special dust, not like the Earth's surface. In the absence of atmosphere, air, it gets sticking too much to the materials and get welded. We call it cold fusion welding and things like that. So all this creates problems in those mechanisms. We are yet to experience. So let us see how it goes. And the issues of temperature on the surface is again another issue. So we'll face it by the time it goes. Sometimes we may face, sometimes it will be a new learning for us. We will wait for it. Yeah. That's why we are exploring. Everything is known. What is the fun in going there?
Absolutely. So one aspect that everyone wants to now know is what happens with the kind of data that comes in. Is this something that now will also be shared with other space agencies, or will ISRO first analyze the set of data that comes in?
There are mechanisms for data analysis. There is a separate committee which is looking into it, in which all principal investigators of each of the payloads, as well as co-investigators, its collaborators. There is a big team behind every instrument, and they will get all this data. They will make sense out of it, and they are all Indian scientific community, and they will use this data first before it give to anybody, and that will be posted to our centralized archives, which can be accessed by the entire world very freely after some lock-in period, and lock-in period has to be decided.
Yeah. So many people saying that this is one of the major steps. What is the future, sir? The next step? People are talking about perhaps a mission that retrieves samples from moon. Gaganyaan perhaps will be the another step in putting a man in the space first and then on a planet. What next, sir?
Yeah, we should do all of that one day, because the whole of this is done for enhancing our understanding and also demonstrating our technological capabilities. Bringing a sample from moon is needed at some point in time when we think that we have an ability to do that. Possibly we may have it very fast, or sometimes may not ever do it also, depending upon the situation. We may be able to go there and do it ourselves there instead of bringing it here. So it depends on the type of technology and money and investment that we can afford at that point in time. So, and there are many more missions we should do. It's not limited to moon. We need to go to Mars, we need to go to Venus, we need to understand other planets, sometimes go out of our Earth solar system also to other exosolar planets. So all these are needed. We should do all of this. These are first stepping stones of achieving that. For our generation, this is a step. Then for next generation, there will be many bigger steps.
True. In fact, the other question that many have is, why did ISRO choose the South Pole region? The general observation is that perhaps because it's not explored much, not explored at all in fact. Were there any other reasons, sir?
As much as I know, South Pole is having lesser sunlight. So because of that, there are possibilities of various scientific interest is very high. It is hypothesized that by various scientists who are known to the moon science, that there could be a larger deposit of water beneath the surface. Of course, that is not the objective of this science mission. But there are other mineralogical observations which will be much different from the equatorial region. And landing there itself is again a challenge. So we would like to achieve that being a challenging mission and also achieve it in the very first time, very first country to do land near to the South Pole. So that way it marks a lot of scientific interest.
Yeah. Sir, Aditya L1 about to perhaps take off in a few weeks from now. The Prime Minister has spoken about Mars and Venus. We've successfully had a Mars orbiter mission. In terms of the priorities, sir, which are the ones that ISRO would now
Priorities, we have well-defined roadmap for doing it. We are starting with the Aditya L1 now. Then we will have missions on Gaganyaan, which is an abort mission. And there are other regular launches of PSLV, GSLV, SSLV, LVM3, all of them are in the offing. We will have to have the NASA ISRO Synthetic Approach, NISAR project is currently getting completed. For next year beginning, we have to do that launch also.
So you mentioned Gaganyaan, so a quick question on that. Where does it stand today, sir?
Gaganyaan is going very fine. We have completed the human rating of the GSLV Mar3 or the LVM3. Then we have also developed the rest of the systems like the crew module, crew escape system, and etc. We have to test it finally now through various tests, and it has to go through qualifications, etc. So we are in that process, and test flight which we are scheduling is part of one of those major tests. And such 6-7 tests are to be done as launching itself until we before we send the man to space.
So final couple of questions. You mentioned about passing of the knowledge from one generation to another. How do you see, where do you rate Chandrayaan, sir? Where do you put it in terms of the impact this is likely to have on the generation?
No, it will definitely have a big impact because it is a milestone event in the history of space program of this country. Going there and landing softly on moon has been attempted by many and never succeeded. So it really marks a technological transition point. It is also a transition point in view of the policies of the government. We have a space policy 2023 announced.
Yes.
So both are coinciding in 2023. It's a watershed event year. In fact, I should say that the space sector is going through such a transformation, technologically, scientifically, and in terms of the ecosystem building through private-public partnerships and private ecosystem coming up. The space economy is also going to boom large.
Yeah, I'll come to that space economy bit in a bit. But one aspect is you demonstrated soft landing capability yesterday. Many are also saying the fact that instruments like a LDV, like a hazard detection and avoidance camera, and many other equipments have been developed in-house by ISRO. Is a far bigger technological capability demonstration. How do you see it, sir?
It is because instruments are not available for procurement that easily, and it costs us too much. So our laboratories have developed all those instruments, the camera-based systems, laser-based systems. So we have capability, including the inertial system inside is Indian. So it's something really strong technological backup that we are working on satellite and launch vehicles. We are all very happy about that part.
Yeah. So you spoke about space economy. Many are saying that yesterday's soft landing perhaps will push ISRO's share in the commercial space economy to perhaps double digits or more than that. What is your assessment, sir?
First thing I want to tell you, ISRO is a scientific establishment. It's not a commercial establishment. We have no interest to do business.
Yes.
Business is to be done by private entrepreneurs. So what we are trying to do is whatever we have developed for which are commercially viable, we are transferring to industry so that it can be taken up on a commercial process to generate revenue or business. ISRO will concentrate on more R&D, technology development, etc. so that we will empower our capability. Chandrayaan is an example of that part of the work, that is technological capability development. But the operational systems and business and economy are a different area altogether. But there is a pathway between connecting this. With the technology growth, the economy also will grow because they are linked. And older technology cannot produce a new economy. So we need newer technology to make a new economy, like the 4G, 6G and other communication revolution, quantum communications, strategic areas. So all we are going into many of these R&D topics, and we will hear about that in the future.
Yeah. So my final question to you, we have seen so much progress with Chandrayaan-3. The Prime Minister likely to visit ISRO. There's a tentative schedule. The whole team looking forward to it?
Of course, we look forward to that. We hope that he will be able to come and meet us and then tell us our way forward. We look forward to that.
Well, sir, thanks a lot for joining us today and congratulations once again.
Thank you so much.
Well, that was Mr. Somnath. We'll keep getting you more details about Chandrayaan-3. Stay tuned to CNN News 18.